Most people think power comes from speaking louder, defending themselves faster, and always having the perfect response ready. In today's world, silence is often mistaken for weakness. If someone insults you and you don't react, people assume you have nothing to say. If you stay calm during conflict, they think you are afraid. If you refuse to argue, they believe they have won. But what if the opposite is true? What if the strongest person in the room is not the one speaking the most, but the one who has mastered the ability to remain silent? Ancient sages, philosophers, and wise teachers understood something that modern society often forgets. Every unnecessary word gives away energy. Every impulsive reaction gives away control. Every argument invites others to influence your emotions. The moment someone can control your reaction, they gain power over you. Think about the people who have deeply influenced history. The wisest leaders were rarely the loudest. They listened more than they spoke. They observed more than they reacted. They understood that silence is not empty. Silence is presence. Silence is discipline. Silence is strength held in reserve. Today we live in a culture that rewards constant noise. Social media encourages endless opinions. People rush to explain themselves, defend themselves, and prove themselves to strangers. Yet despite all this communication, many people feel more anxious, exhausted, and disconnected than ever before. The truth is that not every attack deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding needs clarification. Not every opinion requires your attention. Sometimes the greatest victory is refusing to enter a battle that was designed to drain your energy from the beginning. The person who cannot tolerate silence becomes a prisoner of external events. But the person who becomes comfortable with silence develops an inner power that cannot easily be shaken. Ancient wisdom teaches that before you can master the world around you, you must first master yourself. One of the first signs of self-mastery is learning when not to speak. Silence is not about suppressing your voice. It is about choosing your words so carefully that they carry weight when they are finally spoken. A river that flows calmly can carve through mountains. In the same way, a disciplined mind can accomplish what endless noise never will. The journey toward true power begins with a simple question. What would change in your life if you stopped reacting to everything? The answer may be far more powerful than you imagine. One of the greatest misconceptions about silence is that it means doing nothing. In reality, silence is often the most active form of self-control. When someone provokes you, your mind immediately wants to respond. It wants to defend your reputation, prove your point, and correct every misunderstanding. This impulse feels natural because the human ego is designed to protect itself. Ancient wisdom teaches that the first battle is not with other people. The first battle is within yourself. Imagine a calm lake. When the surface is disturbed, the reflection becomes unclear. But when the water is still, everything can be seen with perfect clarity. The human mind works the same way. A reactive mind cannot see reality clearly. It becomes trapped by emotions, assumptions, and temporary feelings. A silent mind gains the ability to observe before acting. This is why wise people do not rush into arguments. They understand that emotions are temporary visitors. Anger arrives and leaves, frustration rises and falls, fear appears and disappears. But the consequences of words spoken in emotional moments can remain for years. Many people spend their lives reacting. Someone criticizes them and they react. Someone ignores them and they react. Someone disagrees with them and they react. Their emotional state becomes controlled by the actions of others. They unknowingly hand over their inner peace to the outside world. A silent person chooses a different path. They pause. They observe. They allow emotions to settle before deciding what deserves their attention. This pause may seem small, but it changes everything. Within that moment of silence lies freedom. Ancient masters understood that true strength is measured not by how much power you can display, but by how much power you can restrain. Anyone can shout. Anyone can lose control. Anyone can react. But very few people can remain calm when chaos surrounds them. Silence creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, wisdom is born. And the person who learns to live within that space begins to develop a level of inner strength that most people never discover. The more you practice silence, the more you realize that many battles were never worth fighting in the first place. Many of life's greatest conflicts are fueled not by facts, but by the human need for validation. People desperately want to be understood, respected, admired, and accepted. When these desires are threatened, they often respond with endless explanations and arguments. Yet ancient wisdom warns that the constant need to justify yourself is a hidden form of weakness. Consider how much energy is wasted trying to convince people who have already decided what they want to believe. No matter how logical your explanation may be, some minds remain closed. No matter how many facts you present, some people will continue to misunderstand you. Wise recognize this reality and refuse to sacrifice their peace-chasing approval. Silence becomes powerful because it breaks this cycle. When you stop needing everyone to agree with you, you become free. When you stop explaining every decision, you become confident. When you stop seeking validation from others, you begin to discover your own worth. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means understanding that your value does not depend on constant external confirmation. The oak tree does not ask the forest for permission to grow. The mountain does not seek approval before standing tall. Nature teaches a lesson that humans often forget. True strength does not announce itself. People who possess genuine confidence rarely feel the need to prove it. They allow their actions to speak louder than their words. They understand that results are more persuasive than arguments, and character is more convincing than explanations. Ancient philosophers often taught that silence protects energy. Every unnecessary argument drains attention. Every attempt to control other people's opinions steals focus from your own growth. Over time, these small losses accumulate, leaving many people exhausted without understanding why. The silent individual conserves this energy. Instead of fighting every battle, they invest their attention where it matters most. They work on their character, discipline their mind, and strengthen their inner world. And as their inner world becomes stronger, they discover a remarkable truth. The less they seek validation, the more powerful they become. As your understanding of silence deepens, you begin to notice something remarkable. Silence does not only protect you from external chaos, it also reveals the chaos that exists within. Most people spend their lives surrounded by distractions. Endless entertainment, endless conversations, endless notifications, endless noise. The moment silence appears, many become uncomfortable. They immediately reach for something to fill the empty space. But ancient wisdom teaches that silence is not empty at all. Silence is a mirror. When external noise disappears, you begin to hear your own thoughts. You become aware of fears you have ignored, desires you have never questioned, and habits that quietly shape your life. This is why many people avoid silence. It forces them to confront themselves. Yet this confrontation is where transformation begins. The ancient sages often retreated into mountains, forests, deserts, and temples, not because they wanted to escape life, but because they wanted to understand it more deeply. In silence, they discovered truths that noise could never reveal. When you sit quietly with yourself, you begin to recognize which thoughts deserve attention and which do not. You learn that not every fear is real, not every worry is useful, not every thought deserves your belief. Gradually, your mind becomes less crowded. The opinions of others lose their ability to control you. Temporary setbacks stop feeling like disasters. Small inconveniences no longer dominate your emotions. A sense of inner stability begins to emerge. This is one of the hidden gifts of silence. It strengthens your relationship with yourself. The person who fears silence constantly seeks escape. The person who embraces silence discovers freedom. And once you become comfortable being alone with your own mind, you develop a form of confidence that cannot be given by the world and cannot be taken away by it. This is why silence has always been considered sacred by the wisest traditions. It is not merely the absence of sound. It is the doorway to self-knowledge, and self-knowledge is the foundation of true power. The ultimate power of silence becomes clear when life places you in moments of difficulty. There will be times when people misunderstand you, times when your efforts go unnoticed, times when criticism feels unfair, times when circumstances seem beyond your control. During these moments, the average person reacts emotionally and becomes trapped by the situation. But the person who has cultivated silence responds differently. They understand that life is filled with events they cannot control, but they also understand that their response remains their responsibility. Instead of being consumed by every challenge, they remain grounded. Instead of allowing fear to dominate their decisions, they maintain clarity. Like a great tree standing firm during a storm, they bend when necessary but refuse to break. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Ancient wisdom repeatedly teaches that true power is not the ability to control others. It is the ability to control yourself. A person who conquers their own impulses, emotions, and reactions possesses a strength far greater than someone who seeks dominance over the world. Silence becomes the training ground for this mastery. Every moment you choose patience over impulsiveness, silence grows stronger. Every moment you choose observation over reaction, silence grows stronger. Every moment you refuse to waste energy on meaningless conflict, silence grows stronger. And over time, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing to prove your worth. You stop chasing approval. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop allowing temporary events to disturb your inner peace. You become calm where others become anxious. You become focused where others become distracted. You become steady where others become unstable. And in a world addicted to noise, this quiet strength becomes one of the rarest and most powerful qualities a human being can possess. So remember this ancient truth: silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is not surrender. Silence is the space where wisdom grows, where discipline is strengthened, and where true power is forged. The loudest voice is not always the strongest. Often, the strongest person is the one who remains calm while others lose control, who remains focused while others become distracted, and who remains peaceful while others are consumed by chaos. The next time life challenges you to react immediately, pause for a moment. Choose observation before reaction. Choose understanding before judgment. Choose silence before unnecessary conflict. Because within that silence lies a power that few people ever discover, but those who do carry it with them for the rest of their lives. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: when you master silence, you begin to master yourself. When you master yourself, very little in this world can truly control you.